We've all heard that owning rental properties is what the wealthy do, and we all want to get there ourselves. But how do you go from having no money and no credit to owning your own rental portfolio? Here's how I did it. Rental properties are amazing investments. In fact, I like to call them the ideal investment. Ideal is an acronym. The I stands for income. We get cash flow every single month from rental properties. D stands for deductions. There are more tax deductions for owning a rental property than any other tax shelter that I know of. It's incredible, and it's one of the amazing advantages of starting your own rental portfolio. E stands for equity. Equity is the difference between what you pay for a property and what you pay the mortgage balance down to over time. As you make your payments, you open up equity in the property. A stands for appreciation. We know over the last 200 years of data that we have on the real estate market that real estate appreciates on average 4 to 4.5% per year. That's incredible because we're even taking into account years like 1929 when the Great Depression started and years like 2008 when the Great Recession started. However, that's balanced out by years like 2021 when the market went crazy. So we know that over time, real estate appreciates. And because of that, real estate is an amazing way to protect your money. I like to say time heals all in real estate. The L in the IDEAL acronym stands for leverage. As you build equity and appreciation in your real estate portfolio, you can actually leverage those assets. You can take them down to the bank, borrow money against your equity and appreciation, and go out and buy more real estate properties to increase your cash flow and your net worth even more. So, how do we break into this amazing investment category without any money and without any credit? Well, I was in that situation about 10 years ago. When I was 26 years old, I knew that I wanted to invest in real estate, but I didn't have any money, I didn't have any credit, and I didn't know where to start. So what I did was I got a mentor, I got a coach, and I learned strategies like the seller finance strategy, like the equity partnering strategy, where I was able to go out and start picking up properties, even though I wasn't using my own money or my own credit. Maeli and I actually continue to use this strategy to this day, even though we now have money and credit. It's a great way to continue to build velocity and build quantity of assets in our portfolio. Here's the big secret. You have to find someone who will let you use their mortgage. Now, most of the time, this isn't your average seller, right? This isn't the average person who's looking to sell their house so they can upgrade to a bigger house and go increase their lifestyle. You need to look for sellers in distress. So what we do is we look for people who are about to be foreclosed on. The first step that a bank has to take when they're about to foreclose on a property is they have to file what's called a notice of default with the county that the property is in. Those notice of default lists are public record. So on a weekly basis, we pull all of those records, we do a little bit of research on Google, and we find out who the owners of these properties are, and we approach them with a very special offer. You see, when someone is about to be foreclosed on, the bank is going to take their property, but it doesn't stop there. They're also going to add insult to injury by destroying their credit with a foreclosure mark, which will last about 10 years. So for that particular seller, they're not going to be able to enjoy the benefits of home ownership for another decade. We can come in and we can solve this problem. We can be their angels. As real estate investors, we are problem solvers. Remember that. We approach these sellers and say, hey, look, you're gonna lose the property anyway. Why don't we do something a little bit different though so that we can protect your credit? Rather than giving your property to the bank and having that foreclosure go on your credit and destroying your credit for the next 10 years, why don't you turn the property over to us? What we'll do in return is we will immediately bring that mortgage current. You're gonna leave the mortgage in your name, but this is going to be a positive thing for you. We're gonna write a check to the bank to bring that mortgage current, and now that mortgage, that bad mark on your credit, is in good standing. You're gonna have to move your family to wherever you were planning on moving them to, but instead of waiting 10 years and having to rent for that decade, you're now gonna be able to enjoy home ownership in about 2 to 3 years, because we're going to make consistent, on-time monthly payments to that mortgage, which is going to help your credit improve. So rather than destroy your credit, if you turn your house over to the bank, we're going to help your credit if you turn your house over to us. So we come in as angels, preventing a bad situation from becoming worse for this seller. Now, essentially what happens there is they keep the mortgage in their name. So I don't have to burden my credit. And if I have bad credit, it doesn't matter because we are using the previous owner's existing mortgage to finance this property. Now, let's say they're behind $15,000 on payments. All I have to do is come up with $15,000 in order to have this property's title transferred into my name. So once I make that $15,000 payment, the mortgage is in good standing and we can now operate this property as a rental. Now there's a few things that you want to make sure that you have in place. Number one, you want to make sure that you can cover a few months of the mortgage payment so that you don't get the mortgage in a bad situation again while you're waiting to get tenants in there. You also want to make sure that you have the money lined up for that down payment for the money that they're behind on their mortgage so that you can bring that mortgage current. And the last thing and the most important thing is you always want to work through an attorney and a title company on this because you want a contract in place that outlines all of those terms that we just talked about and keeps you safe. Once you've got that in place, you've got your first rental property. Now, you might be saying,
but Mitch, I came to this video because I don't have credit, but I also don't have money. Where am I going to come up with this $15,000?
Or whatever it is that they're behind on their mortgage. That's a really good question. Same way I do it sometimes, and same way I had to do it at the beginning of my career. We find equity partners. We find people who are willing to share that cash flow, the deductions, the equity, the appreciation, and the leverageability of the property with us. We partner with them, they bring the cash to the table, we bring the deal to the table, and we split it. It can be a 50-50 split, it could be a 70-30 split, however you want to work it. The best way to use other people's money on real estate deals is to have a good cash flowing deal or a good profitable deal that you can present to them. Once that happens, contact a lawyer, make a contract, do a joint venture, or start an LLC, whatever your lawyer recommends. I'm not your attorney, so I can't tell you what to do, but use an attorney, go get that stuff in place and make it happen. This is how you're gonna get your first rental property if you don't have any money. Remember that every real estate transaction is unique. You should always be as educated as possible before you go out and do any of these strategies. And make sure that you use professionals like attorneys and accountants to help get that job done right. Now, I get that I've only scratched the surface on this strategy in this video, but I would love to go into great detail and teach you my exact formula for buying real estate without using your own cash or credit. This is the best way that I know of to start building your knowledge. And to help you get started, I'm offering a free strategy call with me, my wife Maeli, or a member of our elite coaching staff. All you have to do is go to www.flippin.education, it's on the screen, or click the link in the description below to get your strategy call for free. I want to dive deeper into this topic with you, and I have a full fleshed out strategy to share with you, but it's just way too much for me to put on YouTube. But this is why we have opened up our time and our coaching staff for a free strategy call, specifically for you, so that you can learn this entire thing and so that you can start making money in real estate without using your own cash or your own credit. Go to www.flippin.education and take advantage of this because we're gonna have to take it down soon. We only have a limited number of spots that we've set aside. So please go take advantage of it right now. Book your call immediately. That's www.flippin.education. Get there today. I just wanna make sure that you have all the tools and all of the resources and all the knowledge that you need to go out and be successful. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.